What's going on, guys? Today I'm going to talk about how to build a brand from the start up. So, if I was going to build a brand on Amazon, Shopify, TikTok, whatever it is, this would be the lowest risk possible way to approach it, especially in higher volume markets where maybe you don't want to go niche down, find a product and get two steps ahead and create just a ton more value around the product or bundle it or whatever it may be. Maybe you just want to straight up be into a field you're passionate about, make sure the launch goes correctly, make sure that you don't lose money on this product, and build a real brand that has asset value and something you can grow upon for years to come. So I'm going to walk you through personally how I would do that here today. Before we hop on screen, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below and we'll get right into it. Okay, so diving right in, how I would start an Amazon e-commerce brand from scratch with the least amount of risk. So this can be a broad overview, and there's tons of ways to do this. This is just one lane that we can pick, right? We need to have a plan and push forward with the plan to even have a chance. So don't take this as the be all end all for how to start a brand, how to start an Amazon product, because there's so many ways to do that. And I'll touch on a few as we go through. That way, if you don't really fit in this category or don't want to do this, that you don't lose all hope. But my whole goal here is to get more ideas out there because maybe you can interplay with them, interchange them, and get your products going on Amazon or wherever that may be. So let's look at the first one here. So pick the niche or field, right? So we need to have a field that we want to go into. We need to have a target consumer, right? So essentially what we're doing here is we aren't picking a product necessarily at first. We definitely can. If you have a product in mind that you like, then you can definitely use this still. But let's say we're at square one. So we're just picking a niche or a field here or a category, essentially something that has many different products and has a good amount of search volume and demand, everything like that. So knowing your lane, this could be passion, knowledge, data. Okay, so I'm going to emphasize passion or knowledge here because for this to work, you need to have some passion and knowledge about it. Maybe you don't have that right now, but it's something you've always been intrigued by. Maybe it's something that you always want to know more about. Maybe you're just the person kind of like me where I could get lost in a different category or field any day of the week and just scatterbrained, right? Where one day I'm really into zone 2 cardio, and next day I'm into HIIT, next day I'm into, I want to get to 300 pounds and be a bodybuilder, right? Then I want to get lean. Then I want to cut down to 12% body fat, whatever it is, right? So it could be you're in that field, or maybe there's something you already know about that you're passionate about. And a lot of people don't see these things because they're not obvious to them. But if you ask your friends, family, maybe your loved ones, whatever it may be, like, hey, what is something that like I'm super knowledgeable about, super obsessed about, but maybe I don't see it or know it? Maybe you already know this from yourself, but that's another way to get into it. So we need to pick something that we really like or a niche that we really like, something like that. So passion, maybe you really like tennis. Maybe you really like, making your own soap. Maybe you're really into clean organic eating. Maybe you're really into organized activities, swimming, right? There's all these things, and I'm listing off really broad ones. The more niche down, probably the better here. And maybe passion's not there, maybe knowledge. Maybe there's something you just know a lot about. If you know a lot about it, or you're a regular consumer of the products or take part in the niche, you know the target consumer. You know what maybe is missing. And a quick and easy way to kind of discover your field or whatever it may be, go get your credit card statement or your bank statement and see on a month-to-month basis, what do you spend the most money on? Is it health, activities, whatever it is? And that could give you some ideas to go down here. Next is data. So for this example, I'm going to use soap making. Okay, so maybe you're really into soap making, and that's pretty niche down, but also a big field. How do we know that? Data. So how do we check the data on this potential field that we can build around or get around or have interest in? Well, first of all, we can check Helium-10, right? If we go to Amazon here, soap making kit, it's got 13,000 searches here this last month. Really big pop-ups here in December. Of course, that's always what you like to see. I know it's kind of trended down a little bit, but 2020, 2021, like everybody was locked inside, of course. And so there was always like every product essentially has a bump up during this time. Everybody was shopping and bored, but it looks pretty healthy here, right? 13,000, 10,000 for search volume is a pretty big niche right there. Then with Helium-10, we can go into this top search term. We can hide all the sponsored listings so we can see the actual revenue. We see someone doing 140,000 a month, 80,000 a month, 27,000 a month. It's kind of split up here. So it'd be interesting to kind of dig deeper into that. But we see some pretty big products here being sold here. We go down 29,000, 158,000 here. So we know there's money being made in this category. The next kind of data step I'm going to look for is on Google Trends. Okay. So Google Trends, we can see about 62,000 searches past month. This is for the term soap making. I like to go to the broad term that makes the most sense here, especially if like soap making kit isn't big enough for Google to kind of give you the right data. We can see the last 5 years, it's been trending again, 2020, 21. We got a good search term we get a good bump here. But as long as it's level, as long as we don't see a crash down to zeros here, that's pretty happy. Again, everything was kind of artificially inflated during this time. So everything looks good here on Google Trends for something like that. Then another way you can do this, again, just on any of the social media here. So we're going to use this lady here as an example. But first, if we just type in hashtag soap making, how many posts per month is going on? 2.6 million posts per month, I believe, is how they interpret that, or 2.6 million posts altogether. I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure this is monthly here. We can get some other ideas too: classes, addict, making videos, workshops. So again, kind of a general theme here. The class and workshop, pretty popular here. Something we can tie in later as an idea as we go through this more. So again, we're kind of picking our niche or field. And I know a lot of people will get stuck on this part essentially because they just don't know. We'll pick one, get deep into it, and see if you like it, right? We got to start somewhere for this to work out. So you can always pivot later, but the best way you learn is just taking action. Then things kind of clear up as you take action, okay? So a big part of this here, people are going to hate this, but building a community or social media following first. Okay, so before you even have a product, okay, we're going to build a following. So where do we do this? This could be a Facebook group. This could be an Instagram page. This could be a TikTok. This could be a YouTube. This could be a blog. There's a million other ways you could do it as well, but these are kind of the big ones here that we can use ourselves. So why do we do this? Well, we want a following to essentially be there already before we start a product. We want to have fans. We want to have people there in a group or a following that already like us, that like our content. And we know that, say they're in the soap making niche, right? And we're making videos on that. Well, we know they're interested in that because they're on our page, right? Like, why would they be there if they weren't interested on that? So for a Facebook group, this could look like you just posting interesting stuff inside a group about soap making. You get a bunch of other people interested in that. It's a free group. You just provide value, community. Same thing with Instagram. You're just doing short form content, long form content, post about that. Maybe you're the authority, right? You just bring up cool facts, everything like that, which again, we're going to look into examples of this here in a second. TikTok, same thing. YouTube, maybe it's long form videos, already tying this in already. But say that you really like soap making, right? That's the niche you picked. Well, what if you held workshops and you posted them on YouTube and you filmed them? We know people are interested in that. It makes you an authority already. Again, I'm already going way past this, but this again is just a way we can have an audience and know our product will sell, or at least have a greater chance of selling before we start. Now, if you're in between platforms to use, just pick something that you're most familiar with or what you think you'd enjoy the most to make content with. Of course, where the audience is, right? So Instagram is obvious. Soap making's a big enough niche where you could pick TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook group, all that good stuff. But if there's one area where they hang out the most, maybe you could skew that route. But again, if you're in between places like this example here, pick the one that you would be able to make content for, would want to make content with, or more familiar with. You know, maybe that's, you rather do long form YouTube videos. Maybe you already make soap, so might as well just film that and people could watch while you do that. And you're not really interested in making the short clips, but just raw, you making soap, putting on YouTube, all that good stuff here. So that's kind of how you pick your platform there. Again, you can do cross-platform stuff, but I always like to pick one and really just hone in on that because every algorithm is different. Cool thing, say you picked Instagram, right? And you're making reels. Well, you can post that on TikTok too. Why would you not? Or YouTube shorts, all that good stuff there. So our main goal here with this community or following, get to 1,000 followers. So this takes time. This takes effort, of course. Making social media content is not easy. But the whole thinking here is something by Kevin Kelly. So it's called 1,000 True Fans. I know it's kind of hard to see, but to kind of give you a terrible, most likely terrible kind of summary of this, essentially meaning that you have a business that has 1,000 raving fans or true fans, and all you have to do is make $100 per year from them to get up to $100,000 per year in revenue. Now that's a great start. Obviously, most people want more than that in their business, but imagine if you have that stability from 1,000 true fans. Again, having 1,000 followers doesn't mean you have 1,000 true fans, but reading this would be a great kind of start into thinking this way. Like, I just have to get to 1,000 true fans and I have a real business. Again, I'm not doing this post justice. Go read this. It'll make a lot more sense. I just don't want to make this a read along in a 60-minute video here. But, you know, bonus, obviously keep pushing 10,000 followers, everything like that. You have one reel go viral, you're going to get to 10,000 followers within a year. So, you know, keep making content, keep pushing this. Obviously, the bigger the audience, the better. But when you kind of get to 1,000, that's when I'd start thinking about your product and testing these things out. So say we have our 1,000 followers, say we're somewhere between 1,000 to 10,000, somewhere in that range. What we could do is do a pre-order of our product. So maybe money's an issue to start your product. You don't have 5K or 10K or whatever it may be to start your product. Well, if you have 1,000 true fans, like, hey, I'm creating this product, set up this web page. If you guys could just pre-order this product, that'd mean a lot if you guys are interested. And all of a sudden you have money already coming in to help fund that product already. So that's a pretty good way to get started. Maybe you don't know what product to start. Maybe there's a ton in your niche that you potentially could start, 5 or 10, and you don't know which one would do best for your audience. Well, I suggest doing an Amazon influencer page if you're in that field. So what I mean by this is we can see here, this is just an influencer here, and she has everything set up in Amazon Associates. So what Amazon Associates is, you essentially sign up and you can make a link for any product, and any product that sells that you push the sale for, you get a bit of commission for. So yes, you're going to make some money doing this. It's not a ton on Amazon. It's like 3% depending on the category. But if someone goes through your link, buys your products from this, not only do you make money, but you can see how many of each product is selling. Okay, so maybe use that data to figure out, okay, I got 10 soap making items on here and 80% are only buying this. Well, that's your product. And then you can put your own spin on it, make it better, of course. Don't just put a lousy product up there, but make it better. And those people obviously trust you because they're following you. They're already buying from Amazon Associates. When you launch that, they're most likely going to be supportive. And that's a great way to get your start in these bigger niches. Now you might be asking me, Cameron, okay, cool. Like, how does that whole thing work? Well, in most cases, people just have a link tree, which you could get this for free. I think it's $10 a month for kind of the pro plan, whatever it may be. But you can have all your links to your products here, right? It doesn't have to be this long. Like this is a lot. She's spilling a lot of products here and affiliating for a lot of people here, but you can have your Amazon list here or certain products that you want to highlight here. You can obviously work with other companies and sell their product in the meantime to get some affiliate kickback. Obviously with TikTok Shop, there's a whole affiliate program there. So you can test out selling products on there. And they're like, okay, the ones that do the best for you, you probably should launch that product and pick that one first. And of course, you make a little bit of money on the side doing this, which is great to help you fund these things. The cool thing about doing this, it doesn't lock you in doing the traditional Amazon pushing thing, okay? Meaning that if we wanted to rank up on Amazon for soap making, we have to outsell these guys on this keyword, okay? And this one sold 400 units past this month. You know how much PPC, advertising, how much time and inventory they would take to get to for a lot of these? Maybe not these guys necessarily. 200 plus is not too bad. 400 plus, not so bad. But this one's more for kids. So you got to make that kind of decision. Do we go more kids route or, do we go more adult route for making soap? This one is $100 though. That's crazy. So say we throw this on Amazon and we push our audience to our Amazon store to buy this product. Well, those sales, instead of spending PPC on them or whatever it may be to get up on Amazon, we don't have to play that game. Okay, Amazon sees we're pushing a bunch of external traffic. We get the same sales per month from our Instagram or wherever our traffic is coming from. And all of a sudden we're outranking these people without even playing the Amazon money game. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense, right? The traditional way, brute force, ranking on Amazon is you spend a lot of money on Amazon, you push a lot of product, maybe you lower your prices to break even so you can keep getting sales and catch up by reviews. But your reviews, even if you have 0 reviews on Amazon, your reviews are pretty much at 1,000 because your followers already have a 5-star review rating on you essentially, right? I know that sounds weird, but they trust you, right? So they trust your product and they want to support you. They like you. So that's how we can bypass this whole Amazon game. Obviously you can launch the product on Shopify. It's a little tougher, if we're trying to play the long game, Amazon makes a bit more sense because if we use that traffic to rank up, then all of a sudden the 13,000 people who are searching this on Amazon now have a chance to see your product too. So you see how this kind of flywheels where, that 1,000 people from Instagram is now supplying you the rank to get in front of 13,000 more people per month. Then a percentage of those people buy, which then helps your ranking even more. And then you just keep getting better, keep getting more sales. You can also use Kickstarter, of course, for pre-orders or getting things going. Website pre-orders, same thing here. You don't have to do pre-orders, but it's something if you're tight on money, you got a great following, maybe it makes sense there. Otherwise, you could just launch on Amazon, launch on Shopify, and do a big, 7-day push on your Instagram or wherever that's at. Same thing with a Facebook group. Essentially, you can just be like, hey guys, I'm starting this product. Love to get a pre-order from you guys. Or, hey, here's a 10% off coupon code. Go support me on Amazon as I launched this small business. You guys have been awesome. And again, if you provided value or entertainment and they trust you, most likely these people are going to support you. And they're in that field already. So they're already the customers in your niche that you want. So essentially, we already jumped the gun here about launching your product to your audience on Amazon or website. You can also do this on TikTok. Like I said, TikTok Shop makes a lot of sense because, again, if you're doing everything on TikTok, you can do the affiliate program and sell other people's products and get the data there, as well as when you launch your product, you can just put it in TikTok Shop and sell that product organically on that, or with ads, of course, but we're trying to do this organically to get going. Cool thing here with Amazon, of course, a lot of people know about this, some people don't, but Amazon has a program called the MCF program, so multi-channel fulfillment. If your product's in stock in Amazon, you can set this up with your Shopify page, your TikTok shop page, which I have videos all over the place talking about this. But essentially what happens is, say someone orders on TikTok or Shopify, you can have that automatically be sent out by Amazon from your Amazon inventory to that customer right there. So there's a lot of ways we can kind of do cross-platform stuff. Or if you want to try Amazon, but you're also experimenting with TikTok or Shopify, or maybe your customers prefer something else, you can have both, right? Because you can have one place and get that sent out by Amazon while your stock's still in FBA, Amazon FBA, and being sold to people in 2 days shipping. So it kind of goes both ways there. So that's it, guys. That's a broad overview. That wasn't a perfect step-by-step explanation of how to do it. But again, these are kind of broad, high-level ideas of how you can start a brand with lowering the risk or getting into a higher competitive market or something you're really passionate about. Doesn't mean you can't go just look at data, improve a product, put it on Amazon. Obviously, there's a lot of steps in between that to make sure that goes well. Have a good foundation, great listing, great product quality. Make sure you're 2 steps ahead of the competition. But this is another avenue that has maybe a bit more potential. You are putting in more work though, right? There's a lot more work being involved here because you have to be a talking head. Some people enjoy that. Some people hate that. Some people, it's a good area to grow because you're uncomfortable. You don't want to do it. That's kind of how I see YouTube sometimes, not to disappoint you guys, but I'm a pretty introverted dude, and YouTube was a great way to get my thoughts out there and kind of show myself that I can talk to people, even though I get nervous doing these sometimes. And you could be in the same boat as me when it comes to that. Just, it's an area to grow and improve. Something you think you never do, then you do it and you're like, I can do anything. I'm kind of more fearless in a way, right? I still have fear, but I'm a little bit more fearless in social settings, talking to people with way bigger businesses than me. And it's opened up a lot of doors for me as well. So hopefully this was helpful, guys. Leave me down a comment if you like this idea or you have anything to kind of add to it. If you want more videos like this, make sure you subscribe down below. Otherwise, guys, we'll see you in the next one.